Okay, good evening, Neena. Good evening, Christy. How are you?
Evening,
Great,
yeah, doing
great.
well.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are here today to, of course, talk to the author Neena George because her book Just a Miracle recently got launched. In fact, it was launched by Mary Kom, and it's been such an amazing journey since the launch till now. And today is very special because not only we are talking to the author, but we also have one of her readers who's here with us. So welcome to you, Christabel Daniel. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. I'm so happy to be here to review
That's
and give
lovely.
feedback on my friend's book.
That's great. So I must tell you that Christabel is a behavioral therapist as well as a special educator, and she's based in Bangalore. And I think what is special is no worries. It's okay. It's okay if your pet is wanting to be a part of the discussion. So, Christabel, tell us a little bit about the book. How did you like the book? Because this is something very personal from Neena. It's a memoir of her own journey. So, tell us about that.
Yeah, I could make out while reading itself. Like it was so interesting because, especially, I know her so well. It was there are so many things which actually I didn't know what she went through before meeting me, and where I came in, which part I came in. It was so interesting to read all about her, her fears and her struggles and the way she dealt with it, and the beautiful phase of her life where I met her. I would never think she ever had gone through a struggle, because the part where she has written acceptance and coping, and then how she went on with her creativeness, is where I came in. And I never realized that way. And it was such an eye opener also for me about her, what all went through her. And I'm sure it's a great thing for everyone to understand and to read and be encouraged by it. It's a wonderful book, and I'm sure so many people are going to get benefit out of this.
Neena, you and Christy have been very close to each other at a very important period of your life. Would you like to tell us your relationship so that we understand a bit more about the dynamics that you had and how the book has affected both of you?
Yeah, actually, for me, when Shirley came in that time, like how she said, I'd gone into a phase of acceptance. I dealt with it and I got into a good phase of acceptance. And she was a great companion for me, basically, because, see, the way she is, and she's so open about things, and then she was so welcoming always. I could walk into her house and she could walk into my house. So I'd probably, I mean, I don't have a sister, so maybe I saw a sister in her where I could just open up and talk to her. And she was my exercise buddy. And then I've written in the book how we used to go for walks. And then, and I still remember recently also I was thinking bird watching. When someone talks about bird watching, I'm sure surely you remember one lady used to do bird watching and we could only see her binoculars, not her, not a single bird. So we used to really enjoy that those walks, Meenakshi, and they used to be such stress busters for me. And the person that I was like, I'm generally not the one who'll show out my happiness. I'll always radiate to others, but my sadness I used to prefer keeping it here. And because I never wanted, okay, she knew that I used to go through treatments and all that, but not that sad part of me. I never used to bring it out. Though I knew even if I wanted to cry, I could cry. There was no issue. And then I thought, many times I thought she understood me much better because she's got someone in her family without kids. So I thought she understood, and I think that was the freedom that I had with her, thinking that whatever I do, she'll understand. I had the reassurance in me. So that is what.
So I think the beauty is that Neena, at one point in your life, you were going through a journey of infertility, and you found a lot of strength and bonding with Christy particularly, but also with people who understood and who were not judging you.
Of course.
This book is a lot about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You were saying, Christy?
Yeah, because when I met Neena, I was like full into her, like so much of admiring her for her creativeness, the way she hosted everyone, the way she managed the house. I could never see, I never saw her as a person who would like was in fear or something. I was total in admiration of her when I met her, and I used to look up to her, and wow, I want to be like Neena. That's the way she was at those days, and it was wonderful being with her. And slowly I came to know about her struggles, but I never saw her as somebody who couldn't do something or she was low. I always accepted her the way she was, and I think that was what the bond created.
So when you read the book and you realize that under all of her exuberance and her professionalism, and she was a great homemaker and she still is,
Hmm.
uh, there was a kind of vacuum. There was a gap in her life. So when you were reading it, what was your feeling as you were going through the book? What were the feelings that were coming to you?
Yeah, actually, uh, we were so young that time when we met and all. So I never realized she had such a difficult, the way she was uh, being, treated by people. I was actually shocked the way people have been treating her and the way they've been talking about her and the struggles and her time of just being on her own alone. And I was really touched, like, I mean, touched in the sense it really hurt me. I never knew like she had such a difficult, and people being so not caring about her feelings and making such loose remarks. And I think that's a struggle every woman goes through in India, especially about not having a child. I didn't know before this that this is what she went through.
So
This was
now,
an eye opener for me. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, it was an eye opener for me also. So I can totally connect with what you're saying. But now that not only you have read and you have internalized what she went through, what do you think is going to be the role that this book will play in the lives of
Book
people?
is going to play a big role in people who are struggling, because as I told you, the chapters which I was reading, and the best part was the acceptance part. The chapter with acceptance, it was really mind blowing. Like I was so like, don't assess. I just wrote down that line, that especially that which touched me a lot. Don't assess self worth based on your infertility. Most of the women do that. They put their sense something like they're not worth it. And that chapter, it was really good. The acceptance and coping with life. The pointers which she has given, it's going to be a real gift for women who are struggling. That's amazing, because it's her journey and she has realized how important it is to be stress free. You have to once you accept is when you're going to be stress free. The once you know how to cope with all this is when you're going to be stress free. And stress free is such a baseline for ever having even a successive rate for having a child again. So you just cannot live with stress and just go on trying. These are such important pointers which she has given, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot of women, men too, because there are so many points, dealing for men also.
So Neena, coming back to you, you said that you all were very young and you wanted to share your good times, and you knew you had a friend in her who would understand your struggles also, but you chose not to share it. Do you feel that this is something which a lot of women do, that they keep their pain to themselves?
Yeah, yeah. Meenakshi, this writing of this book, the main aim in writing this book is this is what I did, and I know it is a mistake. Don't do it. Be open. That's my message to ladies, because I knew I could tell her anything. I knew I could tell Shirley anything. I could cry, I could yell, I could scream, I could do anything with her. Because I told you, like, I found a sister in her. So I knew I could do everything, but why didn't I do it? Maybe the fear, some fear, some insecurity in me. So I want to tell the readers that you don't have to feel insecure at all. If your reproductive organ has gone haywire, it's not your fault. So that's why I've written this book basically for that, to tell people these are the mistakes that I did. Please don't do that.
Hmm.
Please don't do
And
that,
yet,
because, yeah, you don't have
and,
to keep it
and yet,
here.
And yet, in spite of doing that, somewhere you found strength in being able to be optimistic, right? So maybe in many ways, your optimism is what people have loved about you, that you have stayed above all the negativity.
Like I think all our friends loved me for that, because
Yeah,
I was one person, the go-to person for every issue that they had in life. Another
yeah.
friend of ours told me the same thing. I mean, I knew if I mean, he was a bachelor. He said, any problem, I knew I had to just come to you. So probably my optimism overruled all my fears.
Mm.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
it's a
definitely.
God-gifted ability, I would say, Meenakshi, or I would put it across that faith in God is what gave me that optimism.
Definitely. No,
Mm.
definitely. I
Yeah.
think for the world, and I was part of that little world, those who saw the two of you and saw the sisterhood or the bonding or the friendship would know that without speaking, they were, the support system that you were offering each other. But coming back to the book, you say women should speak up, they should reach out, they should not feel that they are alone, and they should not let their self-worth be decided by something like
Totally.
infertility, right? Um, what is your thinking as an evolution? Like this question is for both of you, Neena. What has been your evolution in terms of a more self-aware, secure, and somebody who now believes in herself? And Christabel, what is the change you have seen in Neena from then to now? So we'll go to
Yeah.
Neena first, because as an author, what is the
Yeah.
self-growth you have seen?
Over the years, I've realized, Meenakshi, though I was always known as a very talented one, though I knew that I was very talented, there was one insecurity in me somewhere because I didn't have kids. Okay, right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
over the years, I've done a lot of counseling courses and I've become a life coach. And now I've realized that why not project me the way I am? I should only be impressing myself. I shouldn't be impressing someone else. I should be living a life worth living. And why should I go through all those struggles? So this is what is my evolution over the years. And the fact that the book has come out, opening up my life in front of others, in front of the world,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
is because of that evolution, because of that belief that come into me, the self-belief that I'm worth it. Without a kid, I'm worth it. So that's what is. And then I believe in one thing that I've written in the book also, the key to my happiness now remains only with me. Before also it was with me, but part of the key was with someone else too. But now it's only with me. That's my
How
evolution.
lovely. How beautiful. Yes, Christabel, what do you think? What is the evolution you have seen in her personal life as well as through the book? What is the evolution you said?
See Nina growing so much. I think the struggle she went through has brought in so much of fruit. I mean, every person a struggle always brings something good inside her, And I can see Nina being, as she said, she's been so empathetic. She has that ability to see through a person's pain, and so many instances where she has immediately recognized the pain in a silent face or a little downcast face. She is able to read it. She has been more able to reach out to people because of the struggle she has gone through, and turning into a life course, something which, especially a fertility life course, something that would be the most wonderful thing for her, because she has lived those paths. And the beauty of it is that something beautiful came out of this. She's been able to reach out to so many people. Has the ability to look through the happy face, through the pain. She can see a person, and that is something which she should not have kept quiet, and she has not been keeping quiet about it. She has gone ahead and written a book on it. That's the best thing she would have ever done. I would have never thought Neena would write a book on this, but I'm so proud of her that she did it, because every journey which has a pain or a struggle, and she has learned how to deal with it, should be shared, because people should know, and the best part is somebody who has lived it can reach out to people. Me talking
Very
or
well said.
somebody else talking, a doctor talking, it doesn't help. But a person who's gone through this journey, and the point she is sharing is much more meaningful.
Very well said. In fact, that's the whole beauty of it. Like you said, at one point, she decided to keep her pain to herself. And
Yeah.
today, she
Today
has converted it into a story of hope, because
Yes.
this is a story of hope and optimism.
Yeah.
We talked about sensitivity, sensitizing society. Christabel is a special educator, and she knows that we need to be sensitive to people who are different or whose situations or circumstances are unique. So both of you have a commonality. You both empathize with, someone who society will not understand their own personal journey, right? So,
Yeah.
what is your thought about sensitization? As an author, Neena, one of your objectives is to sensitize. What do you mean when you say I want to sensitize society?
See, Meenakshi, when I say that I want to help people who are struggling with this issue, when I started helping people, I realized that they go back to the house where all these stressors are there with them, the in-laws or relatives who are always trying to point the fingers at them. So now I realize that only sensitizing or educating the couple doesn't work in at all. If I have to really bring about a change, I need to sensitize the people around. And yeah, people around have to be sensitized. So sensitizing in the sense, like recently somebody told me after reading the book, she said, Neena, I never used to ask people about kids, but after I've read your book, now I'll feel empathetic towards the ladies. I never thought about it. So like then my idea is, when I say sensitizing, my idea is that make people talk freely about infertility without inhibitions. Let them talk. So 10 people talk about infertility, okay, that becomes a little less in their lives, in their social circle. Like that, it just has to spread. So the eventually the stigma of infertility should go from this. Okay, there are people who say that they don't want kids now in this particular new generation, but that is a very, very small segment. We might tell that, okay, yeah, I know XYZ who don't want kids, but then the rest of the alphabets are there. There are many more who want kids and who cannot have. So my idea is, when I say sensitizing, it's making them aware what is infertility, making them aware what are the consequences of infertility, what are the struggles that these people go through, just making them aware. So that when the surroundings, the society is aware, the stress on the couple is much lesser.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So Christabel is also dealing with children or people who need a little bit more support from society. So when
Yeah.
you look at whole sensitization, Christabel, from the author's point of view and your own experience, what do you think? What type of sensitization does society need?
Yeah, they have to. I have children with, in my center with mainly 90% are in the autism spectrum. So whenever a parent comes in, I always tell them, like, there's nothing wrong in being a child with autism. It's the way they are. We have to accept. I would explain to the parents, and instead of changing a child, I would want the society to accept the child the way he is. The same thing what Neena is sharing. That's what I tell. Why should the child change? He is the way he is. We have to learn to accept him the way he is. Instead of, I know the pain the parents go through when every time they go out for social functions, they go for marriages. I know what happens. And they would rather prefer to stay inside the house rather than go out. I said, no, you should go out. There is nothing which you did affected the child. You are not responsible for how the child is how he is, and he has a life, and that's how he is. Accept it. So sensitizing the society around us is making people aware. This is how the child is. Accept him that way. He'll not look at you. He'll not give you eye contact. It's okay. It's all right. So that's the way the child is. Accept him. So something what Neena is telling, the different struggle of what Neena is, what struggles which I see in my parents is something of the same, and sensitizing the society about it, that it is okay. It's okay in the sense, it's all right. They didn't do anything purposely for the child to be born. Infertility is not something you did that you became like that. It's okay. It's okay. I know we cannot, as Neena was saying, I didn't know that. We should not tell those things. It's okay. Life goes on. Those are the things which I learned from her book, how to speak to a person who struggles. Those are good tips there. I didn't know that we should not say this, okay, the way I was with Neena, accept her who she was as a person.
Yeah.
Accept. People should learn to do that.
Like if you ask me, Shirley never saw me as a lady without a kid at all. She just saw me as a friend where she could come and do anything that she wanted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the beauty. So, so when we say that we are helping society or helping couples, really what we are saying is to accept and not make anyone feel less because they are different, right? And different is not good or bad. It just is different, right?
This is the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's the beauty of what you've done. You've shared your journey. I can see as a reader, Christabel feels that she can also use some of these lessons in her life with the kids. Yeah, you
Yes,
feel like
yes, I can.
this is
There are so many takeaways and
Yeah,
learnings I've
yeah,
learned.
but Shirley,
share.
I would just like to ask you. Okay, you said about the infertile couple as such, and my question is like, do you think this book is useful for the society otherwise, other than the infertility point of view?
Yes, yes, it is. This is a book for everyone because every family has a person who is struggling like this, and the way they have to deal with it, and the way the people to understand about what a person goes through. It's this the family, it's the society, it's the village which has to understand. And even if you're not going through somebody who says, you will come across friends and all. It's great tips and a great tool for me to see how it has changed me a lot. It has changed me a lot because
Yes,
now I have a better perspective.
Yeah. So, Christabel, you're telling us about some of the things which you believe have been your takeaways from the book, Just a Miracle.
Yes. So here there are a lot of things which Neena has shared on learnings and takeaway. And as I told before also, the part where, you have acceptance is what touched me. I think through my talk, you can see those are real helpful tips for people who are struggling and their families or friends. So it's not just for people who themselves are facing this, but also the others. It is infertilized is not something you are something different. You are capable of something so much, and how you were before you got married, so buoyant, so fabulous. And what happened? Why did you have to go down immediately like that? I know it is painful, but not to forget your self-worth is what I've learned. It was so touching, that point. Do not forget your self-worth. In fact, I've kept my bookmark only on that because it's touched me a lot. Especially it says you should know your strength and weakness, you know your worth, and that should not be judged on your ability to have a child or not. That is something a woman or a family and or a friends, everyone can pick it up. And that part, acceptance chapter, and also the takeaways and giveaways. And as it also came in the chapter of coping with life, she has shared such beautiful points. I really loved it. And I think coping with life is so important for especially it's not, everything is not about the struggles, about that. You should not forget the person you are. Your husband should not forget the person he is, and the way they both went on, in their life, taking their beautiful rides and to the beach and having the fish curries, everything. It is so wonderful to see that in spite of this is how they manage. It's so important. I've seen people struggle. I've seen people going to the lowest of lowest, not wanting to meet anybody. These things would help them a lot. And like sometimes things what you say, that what should be said to a couple like that, how you should do first is to care for them, let them open up to you, and then you start not like the people who came into her life straight away go to her and try this doctor or try IVF and try it's because of you see this pomegranate is not having fruits. It's so heartbreaking how people can be so insensitive. I'm sure such things, try to show that you're caring, and then open up, be a buddy with them. And for the society especially, it has to be very important for the society to be sensitized.
Thank you so much, Christabel, for sharing all of that. Neena, hearing your own reader and someone who has been with you as a friend through your journey, How do you feel? How do you feel that the book has impacted people? What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, see, Shirley, you've always been my. When I wrote about Shirley, like somebody told me after reading the book, you had only one friend or what? Because only Shirley's name is there. I had a lot of friends, but then Shirley was the one whom I used to associate on a daily basis. Or probably, I think in a day we used to meet many times too. Uh, all these takeaways coming from Shirley means a lot to me, and I think means a lot than anyone else giving me a review. Because somebody who's seen me through that, somebody who used to be my, you know, uh, always with me, doing things, and for all my bike rides and cooking experiments and whatnot. So many things we have done together. So a review from her really means a lot to me. And I know it will really impact a lot of people if it's impacted her.
Yeah,
And
it has. It has impacted me a lot. I couldn't put the book down actually. The day I was reading is I couldn't put the book down at all. It was so interesting, so simple words, and the very thing that you cannot put the book down shows how well it is written, and it's meaningful. It's
I
useful.
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. This is the first thing I said to Neena, that I cannot put it down because there is something very honest in the narrative. It comes from the heart, and the
Yes.
simplicity adds more meaning to it because it's not written in a way to impress people, but
Mm.
to share. I think that's the beauty.
yeah,
Of
like
course, we wish.
so I told this to someone, Meenakshi, that I didn't write the book to become an author at all. I've written this book to help people. So another thing that I understood after writing this book is, before this, I always thought that to write a book, you need to use very difficult words or very fancy language you have to use. But now I realize the simplest of writings can actually create a lot of impact.
Very well said indeed. So first, I must again say, well done,
Thank
keep it
you.
up. And also, we are very proud that you are taking that step into sensitivity coaching, because I think that's definitely a need of the hour. We all need it. These little tips, which even Christabel mentioned, that
Excuse
don't
me.
ask people and don't make them feel uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
I think we all will benefit from it. So good luck to you and all the very best.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you. Thank you, Christy, for joining in.
Thank you
Yeah.
for making me a part of this.